It's that thing of put the prawn on the barbie thing in Australia. I was out in Australia for a year. I did not see anybody put a prawn on a barbecue. So I'll do that. Alright, we're going to do the skewers shortly. I'll get the meat on and cooking. Okay, so when you cook a steak, it's really important in any meat that you cook to make sure that you leave it to sit after you cook it, so it should rest for half the cooking time. So you cook the steak for 10 minutes, leave it for 5 minutes before you cook it. If you think about when you cook meat, it gets really tense like that, squeezing out, the protein's really squeezing. You cut into it, all the juices just go straight out, because the juices are squeezing out. If you leave the meat to sit and relax, it just tenders down, releases, and the heckler's in the front row there are causing trouble. So you leave it to release the protein and the fibres, and the juices will stay in there. Behave. Right, so this one here, really, really nice and hot. We won't mess around. A little bit of oil on the steak. It's beautiful organic rump. Rump's got great flavour. Fillet is really tender, but it doesn't have much flavour. Anyone go? Who prefers? Anyone like ribeye steak?
Yeah.
Fillet's nice with a bit of flavouring on there. T-bone, bit of sirloin and fillet. You like that? I'm not vegetarian, I must stress. However, I do like a lot of the vegetarian food that goes alongside meat, which is also very nice. So, on you go. You can season it before or afterwards. There's no set rule about it. This is flaming hot now, so we're just going to chuck it off. And then we're going to check how burnt our sausages are, or should I say caramelised. So it's basically a big pit of fire in there. We're going to cook it through to go rare to medium rare. So lid down. If this stays open too long, this is an absolute sort of flamethrower underneath. So we'll just give it a little bit of...
What temperature's on it?
Hot. Very. So once you've got the lid down, I'd say it's going to go up to about 250, something like that, 250, 300 degrees Celsius. Grab a couple of the flippers, please. Thank you. Right. So, flipper time. Now this is where we hope that it's alright. Lift it up. Oh, it's lovely. Flip up. I feel like an incredibly short person. Lovely. Not that I was at all worried, but it's fine. And then it's amazing over there. Look at that over there. Just behind you. I did manage to steal 2 slices of pizza using that tactic with one of my friends last night. What's over there? Look round. So, I'm here all week, all weekend. No other magic tricks. Okay, so, steak's cooking away. When smoke's coming out the top, we don't worry about it, it's fine. I'm not concerned in the slightest what's going on. Okay. So, next up we'll just get the prawns onto the skewers. These aren't actually tiger prawns, these are crevettes. Slightly different, slightly smaller than a tiger prawn. These are fresh ones, slightly different colouring to a tiger prawn. You see just a little bit of coloration around the head there. Again, caught off the coast, or depending how far the fishermen went, maybe another coast. I'm just going to turn those steaks, just to make sure. A little bit longer. If you could see into here, you'd see a perfectly cooked steak going on so far. You might have to take my word for that. We've got a couple of char marks on there, which is good. We're cooking through. It's roasting hot. If anyone wants to vouch for that, would you like to come up and have a look inside? You sure? Doing quality control is very important. I tend to quality control a lot of food, although I got told never to trust a skinny chef. Metabolism. My uncles told me when I hit 30, I started expanding to stay with the same. Just hit 30, so we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated on Twitter or something like that. Anyway, I digress. so back to the prawns. It's one of my favourite things to do. Cook the prawns whole and just sit there with a whole sort of pint of them, bucket of them, just eating them. They're really quite tasty. Food is meant to be simple. Don't faff around too much. So these ones, best way of doing it, when they're swimming around, they're kind of like this, going along like that. All the way around. It depends. You shouldn't play with your food as well. It's very important not to play with food. Okay, so to take the head off, put them upside down, and pull the head backwards on itself, so like that, and you often find, you see those stringy bits there, that's the digestive tract that comes out. I used to teach in cooking schools. A student once said to me, "Oh, the poo pipe." I was like, yes, you can. But, so pull that off the back there, take off the outside of the prawn. It's in segments, so just keep going around, little bit by little bit. If you want to make it look kind of posh with a bit of shell on, leave that last little tail bit off. A good trick to get that tail bit to stay intact, you just rip it off, you ruin the end of the prawn. So what you should do, you see how it fans out like that? Take hold of that edge of the fan, but leave the tip shell on, give it a little twist, and then the end just simply pulls off. So you've got a lovely little tip on the end of the prawn rather than just pulling that off. So quite a useful one. Also, you can cut down the backbone off there to get the tract out if it didn't come out when you pulled it out. Okay? So then, pop them in there. We'll do the skewering. So, got these ones already done. Again, quick check on the old steaks. So, lovely, they'll come out. Are you hungry? Yeah. Hungry. On my tombstone, it will say, never knowingly undercatered. You never have too much food at a party. You can have sandwiches for the rest of the week, but you never have too much food at a party. So we'll leave those to rest, they'll sit there, relax, chill out, whatever you want them to do. They'll just sit there and look after themselves. Whilst this is multitasking, so for all of you, those who believe blokes can't multitask. So again, with the sausages to check that they're cooked, you can give them a bit of a prod. You can test the temperature if you want to. But these ones, you're just looking for the juices to start coming out. You know they're cooked through. Take about 10 minutes or so. They're starting to burn up. A little bit longer. Right. Okay, so that's on the go. Do the prawns quickly, and we're almost there. How long do you think it takes to cook prawns? Barbecue?
Half an hour.
Half an hour? 2 minutes. There's always one. There's always one. And it's normally him, so it's fine. Right. About 30 seconds aside, something like that. Really, really quick. Really, really quick. Also, make sure you put your gloves on the wrong way round, otherwise it looks like something at a Star Wars trip or something like that. So, you don't have to wear gloves barbecuing at home, but unfortunately here there is no running water to wash hands, so hence lots of glove changes. This is probably the most technical bit, getting the gloves on each time. Right, where was I? Prawns. So, each one of these here, it's not really that technical. You're going to pop the skewer through the prawn, so it holds together like so. For a portion, you're probably looking for around about, depending on size, 4 to 6 prawns per person. Like so. So I could spend lots of time doing this, but I would like my faithful assistant to come up from the front here and put these onto the skewers for me. So if you'd like to come up, so I said heckling will come up. So right, so pop a pair of gloves on. This is also the key to working in restaurants as a head chef as well. You get someone else to do all the work, and you stand there talking, saying, "Aren't I amazing? I made all this." It's quite a good one there. So instead, just can't take you anywhere. Right. So whilst Doug is very kindly doing that for us, I'm going to do the shallots and carrot and fennel salad to go with it. Please, not those. We'll keep those on the front. Those ones there. So about 4 or 6 on each one. He's not quite the glamorous assistant I was hoping for. My other glamorous assistants are taking photos and doing the sound as well, or were doing the sound. Don't say anything. She's doing radio and TV at university. It's fine. Okay. Right. Anyone used fennel much before? A little bit. It's quite a nice aniseedy flavour. So with this one here, we're going to take off the top parts. They're quite tough. You can use these in stocks, soups, things like that. Give it a little bit of flavour. The actual fennel itself. This is also quite possibly the lowest bench I've ever worked on as well. So I look quite funny when I'm doing it. It's just the hope. Are you finished? No? I'm sorry. It's slow, isn't it? You just can't get the help. Right. So take the tougher outer leaves off. And again, you don't have to waste them. Stick them into a soup, something like that. It's quite tough. On there. Next one as well. We've got many mouths to feed.